I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Oh my gosh. I think today's going to be worthwhile. Hang around a bit. We're going to dive into the mess of consumer engagement. So, let's go right to it. Okay, I ran across this article yesterday. It was published yesterday in My Total Retail. And Tim Burke invites us to understand the business he's in right off the bat here. A friend complained about how the rug she bought on SundanceCatalog.com followed her around the internet, as did the dish rack she purchased on Food52.com via Facebook ad. She finally requested Facebook to suppress the ad that was no longer relevant. That's called retargeting, and it's, you got a cookie when you visited their site. You might have just looked at something, and they decide that they give that cookie to Google, and it follows you around wherever you go. It is annoying. And that's why I shop with my private browser, because it blocks the cookies. But, now you know. But anyway, what business is Tim in? So I went over and looked it up, and what I found was, see if I get this right. Nope, I get it wrong. Get the other link. Okay, here's Tim Burke. Looks like a heck of a nice guy. He's CEO of Affinio. I always like the names that people come up with. The marketing strategy platform that leverages the interest graph. What's the interest graph? I don't know. To understand today's customers. I actually went to his site, looked up that, saw a nice little scatter plot of made-up names for kinds of categories of customers. It reminded me of the Prism stuff from the 80s and 70s, but I'm sure, I was going to build that stuff, and I asked my guys, let's build that. And they said, well, the problem is, it prioritizes like income, education, population density, household size. Which one do you want to put first? I said, well, it depends on what you're selling. They said, yeah, exactly. So why don't we just keep them all separate? Use them all rather than glopping them together and hiding things. Okay, but anyway, Tim, I'm sure you're a heck of a nice guy. My best clients were always from Canada. So let's go back to your article and see what it says. Okay, so he says the friend was complaining, and good point, really good. I did invite Tim to join us, but on LinkedIn he doesn't allow you to contact him or connect with him unless you got his email. And I looked for his email and I couldn't find it. So that's probably why you don't have very many connections on LinkedIn. But anyway, people look for things on Zillow, they move around. Why don't people target the forward connections? Well, because it's tough to predict what people are going to do. It implies here that you can predict what people are going to do. Very difficult. You can see what they did, and you can see factors that influence that or correlated with that happening in the past, which is far different than predicting the future. Okay, they moved another state, no brand offered them that. They only offered them stuff they'd already looked at. And that gets back to RFM. The best predictor is the most recent stuff you did. That's fine. Okay. So, for 20 years, ad tech and martech providers have promised brands their tech stack will allow them to deliver unfulfilled customer experience. Yes, that's true. People have been promising a lot. And so here's his prescription of how to fix this. First, we need to make a commitment. The first step is to unify all of the data concerning those interactions into a single location. Now, he doesn't really define all of the data because, as you know, you have a lot of data surrounding you that you're putting off every day. You drive around. We can tell where your car went. We can tell whether you went to church or not. I was offered a mailing list that was who went to church last Sunday because they kept track of where the GPS was on Sunday morning. That was for a fundraiser. Okay? So there's a lot of data. You're going to keep all of that? If you followed my program, you know that the more data you keep, the more likely the spurious correlations and the nonsense piles up high. But luckily, a brand has a data lake where you can dump any kind of trash you want. Then we're going to help the brands identify the insights across of all of its engagement. Okay, so somebody clicks and bounces. Is that engagement? Somebody comes in, looks at 2 clicks, now you retarget them. Most of the retargeting even has higher thresholds than that. You mail them a postcard. Is that engagement? It's not easy to say, right? Not easy to say, and a lot of people are focusing on, duration on site or clicks or any, sign up for our newsletter, give us your email. All of those things count. Well, and that's a problem because what we're trying to do ultimately is sell something. Well, maybe Tim isn't, and I kind of get that. That Tim is really more about let's build you a data lake. Everybody builds data lakes, but nobody's built a boat to sail through them. Well, it's tricky because now you've piled up so much data that with so much spurious correlations, you don't know what's going on. So now we need to unify strategies. That sounds like a strategy is a particular course, but unified strategies sound like everything. We got to look at everything so that every customer touch point is reading from the same page. Okay, this could be years to do this. I really think it's going to take years, but Tim is happy to walk this path with you. He's happy to take your money, which is exactly what happened with IBM Watson and the University of Texas when they said Watson can predict who has cancer for $3 million. And several years later, and 60 plus million later, it still wasn't doing it. Okay? Which, God bless Tim. I hope you check out this video, and I hope you rethink what you're offering, and I hope it's worked, but I didn't see any case studies on your website. I saw some nifty scatter plots, which we'll do that for free. Well, we don't do scatter plots because they're not very informative. We'll do penetration profiles on 12 key variables and see if the data makes any sense. We don't even need your data. Just give us counts. Okay, so let's go over here to this latest article, or this recent article, where it explains that 85% of artificial intelligence projects fail. 85% do not meet expectations. It was a study done by Pactera with the help of Nimdzi Insights, okay? And they do stuff with natural language, okay? So let's go down here and see what they found out. There's a couple of really good quotes in this thing. AI is certainly not a sure path to success, okay? According to Forrester, AI adoption has all but ground to a halt last year. In 2017, 51% of enterprises surveyed used some form of AI. Tim says AI is going to save you. That's the boat that'll get you through the data lake. Okay, I didn't quote that explicitly, but it's in there explicitly. That now that we have AI, your data lake is going to work. Okay, well, what's the problem? Well, AI is a problem. In 2008, this ratio increased by only 2%, 53 adoptions. So now Forrester says 75% of early AI projects underwhelm. Gartner concurs with a similar prediction. 85% of all AI projects won't deliver for their sponsors. The startup scene is littered with dead AI companies that did not connect with the market. Its function is useless in the real world. My word. Don't believe the hype. And here's case studies. IBM Watson Oncology canceled after $62 million. Uber kills somebody. I got into that yesterday. There aren't enough leaders to apply machine intelligence reliably to execute AI projects. Unrealistic expectations. It requires high accuracy. It requires a good labeled data set. And if you're on CAPTCHA lately, you say, where are the cars in the pictures? Where are the stoplights? Where are the school buses? What's that up to? Is that to let you into a site? No. It's so they can build a labeled data set with humans identifying traffic conditions so they can teach cars to drive. You need a labeled data set. The data lake does not have one. It doesn't include one. Tim didn't even explain what you need to tell the difference between who bought and who didn't. He's talking about engagement and the customer journey. How about the difference between who bought and who didn't? Lack of focus, lack of quality data. Oh my gosh. No wonder they fail. Okay, so we're not going to go in. This is better than I expected. I mean, it was a really great paper. So let's go over to what we're trying to do to save it. Okay, so 85% of AI projects fail because of the risk goes up as the costs go up, as the time increases, and the confusion. The CEI expects AI to deliver customer insights and an automated return on investment. I think CEOs also expect growth surprises. They expect it to find something they've been missing in pattern recognition. I think all of that's possible. The CEO wants AI return on investment and a heuristic process so that it gets better and better as it goes, but make some money right off the get-go. Okay, marketing wants magical stuff. There's all kinds of problems. So what we're offering, anyway, boiling it down, is we're offering our system, which has 5 steps to machine learning. We start with a labeled data set. If you have 100,000 customers, active customers, 0 to 12 months, and you want to try this out, we're going to offer you a 90-day process. 2 months to build the database and 1 month to build the model. And we guarantee an ROI in 90 days. We're going to set it up to test against what you're doing now. We use an automatic interaction detector. We throw in a couple of hundred variables, about 300. We have a guy who's been doing this for 25 years who looks it over and makes sure that stuff makes some sense. Then we validate. We iterate about 20 times for every model, and then we put it in the real world. And if we don't beat what you're doing now by at least 30%, then it's over. That's fine, but at least you got an ROI. At least you see what's going on. How about that? That's because we know what we're doing. So, 3-month development. It's a customized database with your data, with custom-built variables, custom predictive model, hand-done. All of it's transparent. We can show it to you. We can walk you through it. We walked Dick Cabela through it back in the day. He said, yep, that's what fishermen are like. We do a head-to-head test. It's called a uniques test, where we can see the ones you picked that we didn't pick and the ones we picked that you didn't pick, and we guarantee an ROI. We may not win. We can't guarantee we'll win. You might be onto something we don't know about. Then you're off the hook if you want, or you can keep going if you like the process. It's up to you. But if we win by 30%, then we do a 3-year deal because it takes a long time to really understand 300 variables, and it keeps growing. And then we get to the real growth engine, which is surprises. Usually I have a book laying around here, but I got a book, and it's full of case studies. It's full of why this process ignites growth. It also beats what you're doing, but that's not how you grow. You don't grow by tweaking. You don't grow by cutting waste, which is what all the modelers say. No, you grow by surprises, and that's part of the game if you do it right. So, guaranteed ROI from AI in 90 days. Have your CFO call me. I don't really want to talk to marketers anymore. They're too susceptible to hype. They've been fooled before. They have no credibility in the boardroom or in the C-level meetings. Have your CFO call me if you're interested. I'm John Miglosh. Have a great day. Tim, I hope you get in touch. Love to have you on the show. Love to hear what you do. Have a great day. Like and share.